Hello. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I thought we'd change it up a little because if this gets out on time, it should be around December 31st, so New Year's Eve. I thought we'd end out the year on Best of Redditor updates. As my understanding goes, Best of Redditor updates is a subreddit dedicated to reposting. Someone will typically take a story and any updates it's received throughout the years and compile it into one post. So, here are some of the top posts for this year. Let's get into it. I met my husband that I divorced 3 years ago. It is tagged ongoing. I am not the original poster. I met my husband I divorced 3 years ago. I miss my husband so goddamn much. No trigger warnings. Original post, February 28th, 2025. I, 35M, divorced my husband, 36M, 3 years ago. And God, I miss him so much. I asked for a divorce for a few reasons, most of which being that his depression got exponentially worse day after day, and he refused to seek treatment. Sometimes he wouldn't even go into work and ended up getting fired from his job. I stayed with him for so fucking long, praying that one day he would start trying to get better. It was all I ever wanted, but that day didn't come. I sobbed the entire time signing those papers, and when I handed them to him and asked for a divorce, he just gave me the emptiest, deadest look and signed them without a word. My heart felt like it had been shattered with a hammer, anger and sadness and fear tied together in the world's tightest, ugliest knot inside deep into my chest. I put on a brave face for my friends, tried to frame it as shackles coming off and a new beginning, but it was a lie. It just hurt and keeps hurting. It will never stop hurting. He was my soulmate. I'll never love anyone like I loved him. He used to be so sweet and loving, so passionate and happy, and every other wonderful thing a man could want from another. They say each day gets easier, but it isn't for me. It's been 3 years and I'm still reaching over to the other side of the bed in the morning to pull him close. And it always stings when my hands touch fabric and not his skin. It's been 3 years, and I'm still expecting to see his car in the driveway when I get home from work. It's been 3 years, and my heart isn't any less broken than the day he left. I've been stalking his socials, I'll admit. He's been getting back into the gym, started meds, and I see him smiling so genuinely in these photos. He looks so incredible. Maybe if I had just waited, he would have changed his mind and went to a doctor like he is now? Or was it just me that held him down? Was I making it worse? I hope not. I want to go over to his place and just fall into his arms and beg him to take me back. Maybe he's wishing the same thing about me. If there's ever even a chance I could have my boy back, I feel like I should try. I'll never know otherwise. Edit. 1. I am a homosexual man. My husband is a homosexual man. I am not a woman. Yes, I know I'm effeminate and kind of emotional. Get creative. 2. My husband was a binge drinker. He refused to get treatment, no matter how much I begged. We got antidepressants, but he wouldn't take them. I know he started taking meds now because he spoke about them and his 2-year sober chip he got last month. 3. I never stopped loving him. I never loved him any less. Near the end of our marriage, I started drinking to cope. The second I realized he was dragging me down with him, and I couldn't help him anymore. I didn't dip the second it got hard. Many of you are being kind of rude. I'll accept that I wasn't the perfect husband. Nobody is. The claims that I never loved him are just wrong and make me feel sick to my stomach. Edit 2. No, I'm not the catalyst for this. His depression started when his young brother died terribly and unexpectedly. It's not because he just hated me so much. We were childhood friends. We were childhood sweethearts, and we had been together for years when this happened. Relevant comments. Sometimes people cannot progress until they hit rock bottom. Maybe you leaving was that for him. He doesn't necessarily mean you held him down. He just couldn't find the desire and motivation to progress while you were holding him. Don't beat yourself up. It wasn't your fault he was sick and didn't want to ask for help. In the end, we all need to want that help. Without it, all other people's efforts are worthless. In the end, if you ended amicably, you could always hit him up and ask how he feels. Maybe he'll ignore you, maybe not. But now you've tried. And stop stalking him. This is keeping you from healing. the original poster said. Thank you, I needed to hear a lot of this. Maybe I'll call him just to see how he's doing. He doesn't hate me, I know that much. I'd like to see him regardless. Unless he's remarried, no harm in reaching out to say hello and seeing where the land lies. Reopen the channels, saying what's what. No poster says he's not remarried. He had some photos with this guy for a while, but I haven't seen any photos with him for a little over a year. I think he's single now. I hope he is. Update 1. Well, with Reddit's advice, I did it. A few days ago, I called my 35M ex-husband 36M, whom I had divorced 6 years when he refused to seek treatment for his depression. I called him later in the evening. It was the first time we'd spoken since a bit of trouble he'd had while he was still drinking 2.5 years ago. He picked up on the second ring. Our conversation was a little stilted at first, as to be expected, but he said he was really glad to hear from me. We ended up meeting for coffee yesterday, as so many of you suggested. I'll admit, it was kind of hard to see him, but in a good way. He looked so much better than the last time I had seen him, and he looked exactly like the man I married. He put off a ton of weight. He'd gained like 75-ish pounds during his struggle with depression, and before some dick says so, I didn't leave him because of his weight gain. He looked way healthier and very put together. I'll just say it, he looked incredibly hot. What made it hard was I couldn't kiss him hello like I used to. But God, the way his eyes lit up when he saw me, I barely needed to. We got our coffee and sat. He updated me on a little on his life in the last 3 years. What really turned his life around was in part the divorce, but more so a DUI. Nobody was hurt. He was caught a few blocks from his apartment. He's since gone to rehab and AA, gotten his license back, and had to use a breathalyzer whenever he started his car for a while. He hasn't had a drop of alcohol since, and I told him I was so proud of him. He's also started antidepressants and made a point of telling me that they're not SSRIs. But when I asked what that meant, he got embarrassed and told me never mind. Question mark. Bottom line is they've been helping him and he's back to being a gym rat. He's almost completely turned his life around. This was around the time I started tearing up. It just felt so good knowing he was okay. Better than okay, he was good. I also apologized to him for not sticking by him. He cut me off and said I had nothing to apologize for. He was a wreck and I was being dragged down with him. That also felt good to hear. I apologized for not contacting him much during the last 3 years. That apology, he accepted. He was dating someone for a few months, too. He broke up with him once he tried to get him to drink on New Year's. He seemed very dismissive of the guy. Guess it wasn't too serious. We got up and went on a walk after a few hours, and I think we both realized it felt like a first date. I had to stop myself from trying to hold his hand at a few points, I'll admit. We ended up sitting on a bench in a nearby park, and I confessed. I told him I missed him more than anything, how I never stopped loving him, how if he wanted to, I'd love to try again from the beginning of the time. We'd go to couples therapy, keep our heads above the water, take it slow. He was quiet for a minute before he told me something. He said he was doing better now, but there may be a time where he sunk low again. Depression isn't easily cured, and he was far from being cured. He still had bad days, but he said there would be one difference. He promised he would never stop trying to improve. He was never going to give up like he did before and refuse to neglect me like he used to. If I was willing to accept that truth, he was willing to try again. I agreed, and he pulled me into an embrace and snuck a kiss to my temple. You know when it's the first warm day of spring after a cold, harsh winter and the soft breeze and basking sun hit your skin at the same time? It felt like that. To the 1,000th degree. After a while, he walked me back to my car and squeezed my hand goodbye, and the second I got inside, I started sobbing like a baby. Happy tears, though. I'm currently sitting in bed, kicking my feet like a teenager, texting him back and forth to schedule an actual date. He said he'd plan everything, try his best to make up for the birthdays and anniversaries he's missed. He said it would knock my socks off. What a dork. I love being in love. I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna be a bit hard to explain to my friends and family. Not looking forward to those conversations, but right now I don't care. My man loves me. Thank you to everyone who had kind words to say and all the people that messaged me with sympathy and advice. I hope we all find happiness and love if we want it. I never would have made the leap if y'all hadn't encouraged me. Best of luck to all of you, and sorry for the overflowery link. Edit. We've scheduled a date for tomorrow evening. I'll let people know how it went 2 days from now in my final, unless something big happens, update. Edit 2. At his place presently. Shamey not read. Oh, wow. I'll keep reading, but relevant comments. I knew a woman who divorced her husband for the same reasons. They'd had 3 kids, one who was mentally ill, married for 25 years. She was tired of covering up for him, dealing with his shit, losing clients, etc. So she kicked him to the curb. 3 years later, he'd gotten sober, counseling, they remarried. She loved the person, not the drunk. Girl, he's telling you his dick still works. Get a clue. Original poster said, I never claimed to be a smart man. Back when he was still courting me, he said he thought I was handsome to my face, and I was just like, oh, thanks, man. We didn't get together for another year. I don't even know how I got to this. LOL. It's funny. Final update. March 6, 2025. My 35M ex-husband 36M and I recently reconnected. I won't go over the details of why we split or our reconciliation, since I'm sure the average Redditor can click buttons and most likely read. He was the one taking me out and promised that it would, in his words, knock my socks off to make up for his neglect of me. He sure as hell delivered. A little backstory. We've been together since we were 15 and 16 respectively and have never moved out of our hometown. This year would have been our 20th anniversary of getting together, not marriage. We were dating secretly for about 5 years before our parents caught us one day during summer break. The fallout from finding out their son was gay actually made his parents split. His dad wanted to send him away to conversion therapy. Oof. He's seen his father maybe once per year on average, and every time he's incredibly cold towards me. Would never refer to me as his son-in-law, only my husband's pal. I wonder why. Anyway, now what you're here to read, I'll get on with the lore. He picked me up from the house and wouldn't tell me where we were going, but told me to dress warmly. He ended up taking me to the place where we met, a rundown ice skating rink in our town. He used to do hockey, and I spent some time trying to learn figure skating until people started beating me up for it. Both sports we would practice at the same time, and I remember barely being able to keep my eyes off him. We went skating. I tried to pull off a few moves I remembered only. He had to catch me from falling on my ass once or twice, and I won't complain about an attractive man that I love hooking his arm around my waist. We spent an hour or so there until our feet hurt. At one point, I said my face was getting cold, so he skated around in front of me and placed his gloved hands on my cheeks to warm me up. I just about burned a hole in the ice from how hard I was blushing, I swear to God. He wasn't done then. We left and went to dinner, specifically the restaurant where we had our first date. It's a cheap hole-in-the-wall place, seeing as we were poor teenagers when we first met. We chatted and ate food. Probably took 5 years off our lives. He was an incomparable flirt, and even held my hand underneath the table like he did all those years ago. I know I said that I would never stop loving him, and I stand by that, but I think I somehow fell in love with him 1,000 times over again during that meal. At the end of dinner, he asked if I had energy for one more simple thing, to which I agreed. He took me a while out of town to a dark sky zone park, specifically the one where he proposed to me 10 years ago. He set out a blanket to sit on and another to cuddle under, and we went stargazing all bundled up together. You never know how much you miss the sound of someone's heartbeat until you haven't heard it for so long. We shared a bottle of sparkling grape juice and plastic champagne flutes and dumb giggly kisses. It felt so similar yet so different. He told me in a moment of quiet that he loved me, and oh God, it took everything I had not to cry. I barely hesitated before asking if he wanted to change venues. He seemed surprised but eagerly accepted. I ended up at his place, as some of you may have seen from the edit on my second post yesterday. I wanted to take it slower than this, but it was so hard to. I was so starved of affection and hadn't been intimate with anyone for just about 6 years. I'm going to keep what happened at his between us, and all I'll say is that his medication was no issue, and all of you should be jealous. I woke up in his bed this morning, reached over for him, and pulled him close just like I used to do. I haven't been this happy in a long time. We had a sleepy discussion and decided to get back together, but we're not using the term boyfriends. It just feels weird after all this time, so he's my partner or my lover. He's mine. Thank you, Reddit. I wouldn't have done it without a little push from the internet. Let's see where this all goes. Well, my heart. I love people in love. I love people healing. And sometimes I do think a story like this is rare. What typically happens is, yeah, people split, they heal, they move on with their lives separately. But to see like such a bond reform is just, I love it, man. I'm so glad they're okay. I hope they'll continue to be okay. Apologies. I do feel bad that OP and his partner did go through such a thing. Him with his depression and grief and that never ends, to be honest. But I'm glad that he's taking it day by day and now they'll be together. I love that. Okay, I won't. Okay, sorry. I am a romantic. I'm a yearner at heart, so saying stuff like this just gets to me. Sorry. Okay, let's go over like at least 2 comments or comment threads and then move on to the next one. I had an old teacher in high school that I was close to who knew I had a boyfriend and that things were a little rocky. Obviously, I was bummed that we were steering towards breaking up and kind of vented to him, and I'll never forget what he said. My first wife was terrible. We were young and just didn't know how to be together without being so destructive, so naturally we were separated. Then I met my current wife, and she is everything. I can never imagine my life without her. And I was just so happy to hear how happy he was, but also was like, okay, Anne. He started to walk out of the little break room and said, I've only been married to one person, with a little giggle. Future convo. He was saying that time apart really made them reflect on how they were treating each other and what they both wanted. Tried again with proper communication and respect. Anywho, me and that boyfriend broke up long ago, but that story will never escape my brain. Oh, that is so good. Like, don't get me wrong. I do think that, yeah, some people very bad together. Whether it's just, incompatible, difference in, morals and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I do think a lot of it comes down to proper communication and respect. Like, you're not gonna know how to love each other. Like, it's something you learn. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. But yeah, wow. Your teacher sounds like an amazing human. Esther Perel, sorry if I said that wrong, had a similar quote about great love. She said, hugely paraphrasing, everyone has 3 to 5 great loves in their life. The truly lucky ones have them all with the same person. Oh, that's so true. I feel like life is all about creating these bonds. And as you get older, you're never going to be the same person. No one around you should be the same. Life, hits you, you go through things, you learn, you change into who you are. And sometimes who you are changes as life goes on. But I could see, and it's all about adapting to each other and coming to love those different parts of people and yourself. This is such a good story. Okay, one more comment thread. Let's see. They sound like they're in a much better place. I hope it works out forever this time. Me too. Reading the story about these 2 lovely strangers just made me tear up and feel so much love for them both. I hope it works out for them. Me too. I teared up several times. It was just so sweet. And a hearty F you to anyone who commented under Original's first post to tell him he gave up too soon. Along with everything else, they hadn't had sex for 3 years before the divorce. A lot of straight men can't even wait this 6 weeks postpartum before they start guilting their wives for sex or having an affair. Those same commenters would have been screaming at him to leave if OP hadn't already. There are so many horrible relationship stories on Reddit, and it's so nice when you see something good about a relationship that works. Yeah, I didn't see the original post, but I don't doubt people were being terrible to him. I think it is often easy to blame the victim. I don't know if victim's the correct word in this, but you see it often in cases where there are victims. Oh, you shouldn't have done this, or oh, would you do this, or maybe you didn't try hard enough, when that's not, again, happens sometimes, typically not the case in this case. Like, I don't think it's easy for a lot of people to walk away when there's like genuine love. And clearly it wasn't. Like, they clearly love this person so much, but wasn't able to get through to them. And so the only thing they could do before completely falling down with them is to back up. And it's obvious that's what they both needed at the time. Anyway, but overall, great story. I love that for them. I'm glad they're okay. I hope they're still okay. Wow. Okay, next one. I, 32F, purposely ignored what my husband, 34M, told me he wanted for Father's Day. He's now ignoring me and won't accept my apologies. What can I do to make it up to him? It's tagged with concluded. Not the original poster. And it was originally posted to relationship advice and to X chromosomes. Original post, June 20th, 2023. Me and my husband have been together for the past 9 years. We have 2 kids, an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. For Mother's Day, all I wanted was a free day. I wanted my husband to take the kids out somewhere for the day so I could be home alone and relax. Instead, he got me and the kids tickets to have a fun day out, and it was fun, and me and the kids had a good time, but it irked me that he gave me the exact opposite of what I asked for. For Father's Day, my husband also wanted a free day so he could stay home and game all day. He games all the time with his friends. He'll get home from work, maybe spend some time between then and dinner with the kids before going up to his office to game for a few hours with his friends. Instead, I got him and the kids cards for an arcade an hour away with tons of tokens. I gave him the cards during dinner on Saturday so he and the kids could have to leave early and spend all day playing with them. I got my free day, and he and the kids got to make a lot of memories together. He and I got into a fight when the kids went to bed. He was angry that I ignored what he wanted for Father's Day. I was angry that he didn't see he'd done the same thing to me on Mother's Day. He's been ignoring me since and won't accept my apologies. TLDR, I ignored my husband, wished to have a free day, a Father's Day, and got him and the kids a day out because he did the same thing to me on Mother's Day. He now won't accept ignoring me or accept my apologies. Edit. Some people are thinking me, my husband, and our kids went out for Mother's Day. We didn't. I took the kids for a day while he played video games all day with his friend. I can't believe I would say this. I do not hate, resent, or in any way dislike my children. My point was not that going on a day without them was terrible and I hate it. My point is that it really sucks asking for one thing and being given the opposite. Pause. Yeah, what he did was foul. And anyone jumping on her saying, oh, you hate your children is insane. Having 2 kids, and as much as you love them, and again, I'm making assumptions purely based off the fact that she did state, hey, yeah, he'll typically spend some time with the kids after he gets off from work, but then he just games the rest of the time. And guess what? Well, the kids probably have some autonomy, and maybe they'll busy themselves with playing or something. But that sounds like it's gonna be up to her to either, make them food or help them with homework, or maybe they want to play something together. I don't blame her for wanting at least one day of just rest, just peace, just quiet. Then in no way, shape, or form means she hates her children. Anyone who said that is insane. Sorry, just had to get that out there. Again, a little assumption, but she did state that one thing. Okay, sorry. Relevant comments. Sorry, relevant comments. That's hilarious. I wouldn't apologize at all. Tell him to come talk to you when he's done being a piss baby. Original poster said, I really don't feel sorry and I feel like I was justified. I just want him to stop ignoring me. There is no way he didn't know what he was doing when he set up a day with you and the kids on Mother's Day without him around. Or I guess maybe he's legitimately insane. I feel crazy reading these comments accusing you of resenting your kids or being a bad wife or getting petty. Like, yeah, it was petty. People get petty when they're mistreated and taken advantage of. Now he's lying to you and saying it's not the same and not what he's trying to do. Please. Any husband with half a brain knows that Mother's Day is a holiday the father and husband participates in actively, not just planning or buying, but is present with you, with the kids, trying to give you time off. It's what he wanted for Father's Day. He knew it's what you wanted for Mother's Day. Yeah, it was petty. I would be petty too. If my partner got me an obligation and got themselves a day of rest, you need to talk it out, but he needs to own up to what he did. 100%. Like, it is completely unfair that he's getting mad at her when, again, yeah, it was petty, but it's completely unfair that he's getting mad at her for it. Absolutely insane. I don't understand how people think I resent my own kids. On both days, the kids had so much fun when they came back from the arcade, and they wouldn't stop telling me how much fun they had and showing me the prizes they'd helped won. When we had our fight, it was after they were in bed. They've picked up on him ignoring me, but I've not told them why, just that he's busy with work and is cranky because of it. That's so oof. Some of the people responding to this are teenagers. There's no age limit. I'm not surprised you're getting dumb responses like accusations of hating your kids. Original poster said, there are many accusations of me hating my kids and calling me selfish for wanting to have a day to myself instead of spending it with my kids, as if I have an infinite amount of energy and time in the day to cook, clean, take care of the kids, and have time for myself when I don't. Exactly. It sounds like she has the full plate, and to be honest, that sounds like the typical wife, typical mother's situation. And it's something that you do take pride in, you do enjoy, but again, you have limited energy, you have limited time for yourself. Every single person in this world needs a little time for themselves, no matter the way they get it. Update October 12th, 2023, 4 months later. TLDR for my last post. My husband didn't give me what I asked for Mother's Day, a gift, a day to myself to relax. So on Father's Day, when he also asked for a day to relax, I gave him what he'd given me for Mother's Day. We had a big fight over it, which ended with him ignoring me for days. People keep asking me for an update, so here you go. We're in the process of getting a divorce. Now please stop asking me for an update. I didn't know my post would get so popular and people would decide to repost other platforms. And if I had known that, I wouldn't have made that post at all. Relevant comments. Thank you for updating us. I'm sorry you had to go through this. Did he ever see reason about the Mother's Day equals Father's Day's gift, or did he remain willfully obtuse to the end? Original poster said, he hasn't and still says that when he did it to me, it was different when I did the same thing to him. I'm sorry. I hope you'll be able to heal and find someone you have to an eye for an eye in order to get them to understand what you need. I'm just hoping to find someone with basic empathy. I did all that and he still doesn't understand why I was upset with my gift. At least now you can relax when he has the kiddos. I'll relax when they're at my parents' house since he doesn't want custody of them. Oh, he's just awful. Okay. I would eat my own tongue before I apologize to him. You make nothing up to him. Did he make Mother's Day up to you? These are all grown-ass men who manage their lives in every other aspect. This is just laziness. No, he never apologized for Mother's Day. Throw the whole husband away. My ex forgot Christmas, Mother's Day, birthdays, and he actually said he was planning it. It doesn't get better, it only gets worse. I promise you there's freedom on the other side. That's the plan. Why don't they get marriage counseling? Original poster said, he refused to go so many times until he told me he wanted a divorce, and all of a sudden it was, we don't have to go that far. What happened till death do us part? Why don't we go talk to someone for the kids? That ship sailed long ago. Next update, May 14th, 2024, 7 months after first update, 1 year after the original post. I didn't wake up to a messy kitchen that I was expected clean. After eating a subpar breakfast, I didn't have to fight with anyone over what quote unquote gift I was given. I didn't have to cook dinner after an exhausting day where I got no help or thanks from my ex. I didn't feel the stress I have felt every other's Mother's Day. I got to have a lazy morning in bed with my kids. We made pancakes for brunch. They gave me cards they'd made in school. And we watched movies on the couch all day and ordered pizza for dinner, and it was wonderful. I do get sad when I hear about relationships ending to an extent, but it's clear it needed to. He was taking advantage of her. He wasn't respecting her. He clearly doesn't seem to care about his own children. So I'm glad they all seem to be doing better. That man is awful. Some comments. I'm stuck on how that whack ass ex-husband thought his gift was different in any way. I understand he's functioning with a crippling lack of brain cells from terminal entitlementis, entitlementitis, but I've never really understood this sort of logic. Quote, you did the same thing to me that I did to you, but you did me wrong and I did everything right? Question mark, question mark, question mark. It's frying my synapses. It was exactly the same. She asked for a day off. He bought her a day out with the kids while he stayed at home and did nothing. He asked for a day off. She bought him a day out with the kids while she did nothing. I bet he'd already planned on gaming days with his friends for both days and was furious that it didn't work. What a weenie. Yeah, I don't doubt that. Again, I like gaming. Gaming's been part of my life forever. It's one of those things where, yeah, planning, but I do wonder if it was like a raid or something where it's more time sensitive. It doesn't make it any better. I'm just wondering. I'm just curious. Where you have to like actually like slot in those time slots. I can assure you the reasoning behind don't do to me what I did to you is rooted in the belief that his wife is there to serve him and mother his kids. They are simply not equals in his mind, not in rights, not in duties. He can't just say that, he can only imply it. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's also prevalent through his actions of not like seemingly helping around the house. Like again, you have heard me state it before, but I don't know if I'll get it, but I do want like, a marriage and kids and stuff, but that's because it is truly what I want. I would never like force that on anyone else. Women are more than just what society thinks they should be. But even though I do enjoy cooking, I do think I would enjoy being quote unquote motherly. That doesn't mean I wouldn't like help around the house. Everyone gets tired. Like, I think people need to understand that. Some people need to understand that just because someone likes doing something or is okay with doing something doesn't mean they don't need or also want help or just a little bit of a break, And I feel like if someone truly cares about you and your well-being, they will take that into consideration at least once. You're missing the critical point. She's a woman and he's a man. So to his brain, it's okay to stick her with the kids as woman should do the childcare, but not okay to stick him with the kids. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it seems like. And the fact that he, basically ditched them after getting the divorce. He didn't want custody. Crazy. One more comment thread and we'll move to the next. I had an online acquaintance whose life got so much better and easier post-divorce. One of the biggest ways it changed was that she stopped waiting for him. He was seldom home, quote unquote, working late, which was really having an affair. So it wasn't connected to what was going on. Their hardwood floor desperately needed refinishing, and he was supposed to be in charge, so she kept reminding him. She offered to make all the arrangements, and he got mad that this was his job, so it didn't get done at all until he moved out. Then she called contractors, got bids, got the floor done, and suddenly cleaning was easier, and the home was more pleasant. Her son had never gotten to be a part of the Pinewood Derby at Boy Scouts because Dad was the one who was supposed to make helped make the car, and he wasn't ever home and never did until he moved out. Then mom and the boy went into the garage and made the car together. The kid came in second and won a prize for design. He was a hoarder, so when she moved all of his stuff out, he had room in the garage. Dinner time was a drag because she fed the boys at a sensible time, but because she had to keep food ready for him to eat whenever he'd come home, she couldn't really clean up and close, quote unquote, close the kitchen until he moved out. And dinner was at a set time, cleanup was right after, while the boys were still awake or available to help since they wouldn't be in the middle of homework. Again, I just feel so bad things end up like this, but I'm glad they're doing better. Man. My situation was similar, except the only child was an infant, lol. Yes, life as a single mom of an infant was much, much easier than married with an infant. Sad but true. I've often said that after having a child, my wife and I didn't understand how single parents manage it. It honestly didn't occur to me that a spouse might add to the load. Yeah, everyone in a family or a household should do their part. I also don't know if my cat crying in the background is being picked up. Apologies if so. I'll have to play with him a lot after recording. Okay, next one. My 29F girlfriend, 27F of 4 years, just told me she's pregnant. I'm a woman, so it can't be mine, but she swears she didn't cheat. What do I do? Okay. Trigger warning for everyone. Mentions of infidelity and homophobia, cancer, and medical malpractice. So again, if that's a problem, I understand, don't listen to the story. Okay. Original post, November 17, 2015. I'm still in shock, so bear with me. My life feels like a soap opera right now. Apologies, probably be long. Here's some background. My girlfriend Anna and I have been together for 4 years, with intentions of getting engaged sometime this year. To clarify, we are both two women in a relationship. I am a lesbian, always have been, but Anna is bisexual and has had serious relationships with men in the past. This has never been an issue for us because we love each other and have a healthy and stable relationship. But now, as you can imagine, I'm second guessing everything. What went down? In the last month, Anna has been complaining about putting on weight, particularly in her stomach area. Anna is thin and athletic, so the little belly she developed is noticeable. She has been going to the gym more and has been started eating much healthier than she usually does. We didn't notice any improvements with her weight loss, but I told her that it takes time and she will eventually lose the weight. Pregnancy never ever crossed my mind for obvious reasons. Last week, she really started freaking out about her weight gain, so she scheduled a doctor's appointment. She had the appointment yesterday afternoon and afterwards called me at work and told me she needed to talk. I could tell that she had been crying. I'm freaking out at this point now, thinking she's terminally ill or something. I started tearing up, asking her to tell me what's wrong, but she insists on meeting at home. I leave for work immediately and get home to see her sitting on the couch, her face puffy from crying. I'm shaking and tears are streaming down my face. I ask her about the doctor's appointment and what is going on. She can barely get the words out through her sobs. She tells me she went to the doctor and that they told her she is 13 weeks pregnant. I stop crying, but my brain is trying to comprehend what she told me. All I could say was, what? Over and over. She is still sobbing, saying she is so confused. She has no idea how this happened. I've never really seen her in a state like that. She seems genuinely upset and confused, but then again, so am I. As I started registering what is going on, I asked, did you sleep with someone? She only starts crying more, swearing on her life that she didn't sleep with anyone. So I'm like, but you did. You're pregnant. There's no way you didn't cheat on me. Which she's surprised. I have no clue how this happened, but I swear to God, I didn't sleep with anyone. You have to believe me. We go back and forth for 30 minutes or so, both of us still confused. I told her that I needed time to think, so I called a friend and spent last night at his house. I've been talking with friends and everyone is confused by agreeing that Anna must have cheated on me. I keep playing over our conversations in my head though, like if she knew that she had slept with a guy and that she could be pregnant, why would she go to the doctor? Why wouldn't she have just gotten an abortion secretly? She could have used a Plan B pill just in case, like she could have gotten away with this. Maybe I'm being foolish here, but it generally seemed like she had no idea why she was gaining the weight in her stomach. couple nights we talked at length about possibilities why she was gaining weight in that region, and pregnancy just never crossed our minds. I'm also playing back the potential date that she could have cheated on me, considering she's 13 weeks along. We live together and have similar work schedules. We both work 9 to 5 jobs, and if I'm thinking of the right week that this could have happened, there is nothing that stands out of the ordinary to me. There weren't any late nights or suspicious activity that would have concerned me. I feel like I'm driving myself crazy. I feel like I can't trust her. She's been texting me asking if we could talk, and I told her that I needed more time. I want to believe she's telling the truth, but I can't think of any reason how she could be pregnant without having slept with some guy. It's also confusing given the situation. So Reddit. What are your thoughts? Does my girlfriend have a case of lesbian immaculate conception, or am I being a fool for doubting that she cheated on me? How do I handle the situation? How do I talk to her? Everything feels confusing right now. Thanks in advance for reading. LDR. My girlfriend just told me she's pregnant, but we're 2 women in a relationship. She is devastated and swears she didn't cheat on me. Where do I go from here? Relevant comments. I think you know the right answer here. You don't just magically get pregnant. Yeah, she could have hidden it and secretly gotten an abortion, but she in all likelihood didn't think of anything until it was too late. Maybe they used a condom and it broke, maybe you pulled out or something and she was convinced it couldn't be a pregnancy or didn't want to believe it. Denial is extremely powerful. Some people will deny till the day they die. But she's in a relationship with you, a woman, that she's pregnant, and this isn't one you can deny. Logic says she may as well come clean, but good luck with that. 99.9% chance she cheated. The only other explanation was she was drugged or something. But that's a big leap into let's find a way to rationalize this. But that's a big leap into let's find a way to rationalize the shit out of this. Good luck with this. My money's on she was unfaithful, as it's the obvious answer. Maybe the answer that she cheated is obvious here, but it's also difficult to explain to a bunch of strangers just how upset she was when she told me. I can't expect internet strangers to know the intimacies of our relationship. I would not be posting here if I didn't think there's a slight chance she was actually telling me the truth. Obviously there's updates and I'll continue reading, but I would think she would cheat too, but this is coming from someone who isn't in the medical field, right? Like, I don't doubt that there are some like diseases or conditions or something that would mimic, because the human body is a crazy thing. Like, I wouldn't doubt that there's something out there that could mimic a pregnancy, right? Like, aren't there like false heats in like animals, like dogs? I don't see how there couldn't be like something similar to that, but just like giving off, like making your body think it's pregnant. No, I don't know. Let me continue reading. Update November 20th, 2015. A lot has happened since the original post. Thank you to everyone that responded with helpful comments. It seems like most people came to 3 possible conclusions with Anna's pregnancy. She cheated on me and got pregnant, that she was a victim of drugging scenario and doesn't remember anything. The doctor is wrong. After spending the night at my friend's house ignoring Anna's calls and texts, I decided to see her the next day to talk. We made a plan to meet at our house after work. I wasn't sure what to expect from our conversation. I thought I might get a confession of her cheating on me, or something along those lines. So we met at home. She asked me how I was doing, and I told her I was still pretty confused and upset. She understood. Then I said, I have to know, did you sleep with someone or cheat on me or come near sperm in any way, shape, or form since we have been together? She swore up and down that she did not. Very sincerely, she said, I know this is crazy, literally unbelievable, but I swear to God I didn't cheat on you. I'm just as confused as you are. I still wasn't entirely convinced, so I asked her about the doctor visit specifically. She did not get an ultrasound. They only took a urine sample. Huh. I guess she told them her symptoms and they took a urine sample, concluded she was pregnant, and sent her on her way. Asked why they gave her a specific gestation period and she didn't know. I'm not entirely sure why they did either. Of course, I was like, did you tell the doctor that it's possible that you're pregnant, that you've been with a woman for 4 years, last 4 years? And the doctor gave her grief for it. Essentially implied that she must have slept with a man because she's pregnant and that's why she was experiencing her symptoms. I'm not sure if this is a common occurrence for a doctor, but she said he seemed completely unfazed by her claims of not having slept with a man. For those of you that have mentioned her period, Anna has an irregular period. Sometimes she gets it and sometimes she doesn't. So there was no cause for alarm when she didn't get her period for 3 months because A, she can't get pregnant, and B, more sex for us. I guess the doctor saw the signs of a positive pregnancy test and the lack of period in pregnancy was the most reasonable option. After hearing about that, I said that she should schedule another doctor appointment with a different doctor as soon as possible. She told me that she had and had the appointment the next day, yesterday. We decided that it was best that I go with her to the appointment. First order of business with the new doctor was the ultrasound. I sat with Anna as they put the gel in her stomach, and I was honestly sweating bullets. I kept thinking to myself, what if she's actually pregnant? I thought I was going to pass out, but Anna seemed calm. They confirmed that Anna is not pregnant, but she had a mass on her ovary that was cause for concern. It was one of the most emotionally confusing moments of my life. Anna and I looked at each other, not sure if we should celebrate the not pregnancy or cry or what. Oh, sorry, my eyes rolled ahead a little. Oh my god, okay. Anna has more appointments, but the new doctor gave her the diagnosis of stage 1 ovarian cancer. This explains a positive pregnancy test and the bloated stomach. This also explains why she wasn't able to lose the weight in her stomach. The doctor also mentioned that the irregular periods should have been a sign of concern for Anna, as women with irregular periods can be more at risk for ovarian cancer. I'm devastated and hopeful. Anna is still in shock as she has been through a lot the past couple of days. I'm supporting her the best I can and we are figuring out a game plan. Naturally, we are both terrified of what's to come. This will be a huge part of her life and my life and probably put our plans to get engaged, married, have kids on hold. Even if she can even have kids, all this. Anna even joke about the fact that she wished she had actually been pregnant with the Messiah. That way we could keep the kid and have this horrible diagnosis. So I guess this is a happy / sad update. Thanks to everyone for reading. TLDR, girlfriend isn't pregnant but has ovarian cancer. The Messiah has returned. Oh my god, that makes me want to cry. Oh, cancer is just such a awful thing. It's ripped apart so many families, including mine. I've lost many people to cancer. I really hope that OP's girlfriend will be okay. That is so sad. Screw that first doctor for just shoving her off and being like, oh yeah, you're just pregnant. The fact they didn't do an ultrasound is insane to make sure. Like, oh my god. Okay, sorry. Guess that was a little triggering for me. Relevant comments. I'm so sorry to hear. The first doctor who was so dismissive of her insistence that she hadn't slept with a man should probably be scolded for this. Urgent Poster said, when she explained his reaction to me, I was livid, called me an angry man, hating lesbian, but the second doctor was a woman, and she was honestly one of the most helpful and supportive doctors I've ever encountered. That makes me so sad. Wow, that is so sad. As a physician who is not even a gynecologist, that first doctor did not do their due diligence. It's a slam dunk classic boards question for a woman with no recent sexual history who has a positive pregnancy test, may have a HCG, pregnancy hormone secreting ovarian tumor. Edit, as some people have rightfully pointed out, my phrasing should not have been sexual history that could result in a pregnancy. I didn't mean to discount same-sex relations as an absent sexual history. I'm a dude married to a dude, so definitely not trying to come off as homophobic as some have suggested. Seriously, not only did it almost wreck a relationship, but he completely missed a cancer diagnosis because he was too misogynistic to hear his own patient. OP should file a complaint or something, if only to get him training so it doesn't happen again. I really hope they did. This is another comment from OP. I think we'll get around to filing a complaint after this is settled a little bit more. It's really her call, and she's still processing having cancer at 27 years old. I can understand why the old doctor would see a young woman with a positive pregnancy test with pregnancy symptoms and assume pregnant and not cancer. But it feels off to me after her insistence that she was in a relationship with a woman, he would shrug it off, like it's not a factor in her diagnosis. September 11, 2001 at 1:30 a.m., I was in the ER for excruciating pain in my side. They took a pregnancy test, came back and asked all the questions. I said I was in a relationship but not sexually active. Asked me how I knew my boyfriend couldn't have gotten me pregnant. I said because she is a woman and I know for a fact we hadn't had sex in the 6 months we had been dating. Doctor did an ultrasound as I had my period regularly because I was on Depo-Provera shots for my PCOS. I was in fact pregnant. They joked I needed to change my name to Mary. The doctor took blood and hair samples to test. Yes, I went home and slept for a couple hours and was woken up to my roommate Jen screaming the world was coming to an end. Turns out I had in fact been drugged and, oh my god, on my 21st birthday by my designated driver, who lived in the same house as I did, renting a room for my mom's fiance. He found out because answering machines were still a thing, and I had to move out in a hurry secretly. The baby had severe genetic abnormalities. I had a D&C because it wasn't alive, because it wasn't XX or XY. It was some sort of mutation that the geneticists who tested the remains couldn't identify at the time. And despite the ER doctor notifying the police that I had been and having proof I had been drugged 2 months before, and for a while before that, my rapist stalked me when he found out and admitted to what he did in public, claiming I killed his baby after the D&C. So yeah, no matter how you handle it, a woman being pregnant when she absolutely shouldn't can be extremely dangerous. That is so sad. I'm so sorry. That person needs to rot in jail and go to hell. I'm so sorry you went through that. Oh. Yeah, and everyone else is saying that they're sorry that poster went through that. I'm so sorry. Wow. Yeah. So sorry to that poster. I'm so sorry for the original poster and her girlfriend. I do genuinely hope they'll be okay. That was heavy. Very heavy. Can they sue that original doctor? I don't know. I know they can at least file a complaint, but I don't know if they could actually sue or anything. But yeah, thank you for listening if you've made it this far. I'm honestly gonna yap a little after this, so either stick around for that, but if not, thank you again for listening, and I hope you have an amazing day. Okay. Hello. Well, I know I thank you guys for watching after every video. I still wanted to come here and express my gratitude once again. Thank you so much, whether you watch me for 5 minutes or 30, or if you've gotten through this entire video to make it to this point. Thank you. I never thought I'd have a platform with people willing to listen. I've only just started making content, and I know there will be a lot of ups and downs, so please bear with me. I do hope you'll stay for the ride though. While this year wasn't the best for me, I have high hopes for the next year. I hope this year treated you well, and if it hasn't, I hope next year will be better for you too. Happy New Year's Eve, or Happy New Year's, whenever you might see this. And if you're seeing it after, well, I just hope you're doing okay. See you.